Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Whitewater Township Trustee meeting for February 17th, 2025. At this time, I want to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If I can ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fiscal Officer Jim Brett, roll call, please.
Mr. Pope.
Here.
Mr. Shively.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here. Can I get acceptance of the meeting minutes for the January 2025 regular trustee meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope.
Yay.
Mr. Shively.
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
Thank you.
Also, we need acceptance of the meeting minutes of the February 3rd, 2025 special meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope.
Yay.
Mr. Shively.
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay. Also, if everybody had a chance to look at the invoices, we need acceptance of the invoices.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope.
Yay.
Mr. Shively.
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay. Sergeant May, you want to do your sheriff's report?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sergeant.
Hope everybody finds themselves well. All right, we are dealing with the reporting period of January 2025, and we had 7 thefts in the township, one of which was an automobile, which was subsequently recovered, 1 unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, 1 identity fraud, 2 criminal damagings, 2 criminal trespasses, 1 arson, unoccupied structure, 1 rape, which was reported through our Mayerson Center, a known suspect, 1 aggravated robbery that occurred down in the Miami-Town area involving juveniles, all of which were apprehended by sheriff's deputies. We had 1 domestic violence, 3 assaults, 1 corrupting another with drugs, 1 possession of drug abuse instruments, i.e. a hypodermic needle, 1 making false alarms, which was basically a swatting incident, 1 obstruction of official business, and 1 open container, which emanated from an OVI arrest. Normally, we don't take reports on minor misdemeanors. 7 aided cases and 4 other non-criminal cases. This brought our reports up to 36. 24 of which were closed, 12 of which are active. We had 21 in December, so we're seeing an uptick once again. Auto accident reports, we had 26 in the township, 20 by way of comparison in December, and calls of service were comparable between the 2 months at 335 for January and 325 in December. And that completes my report, unless you gentlemen have anything for me.
Anybody have anything
I
for
do
Sergeant
not
May?
have any
I do not.
questions.
I do not. Stay warm and stay
Fantastic.
safe.
It's the key phrase this week, apparently, is
Right.
staying warm, no doubt.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go into public presentations. First, Kathy, do you want to come up? You're first on the list with Energy Alliance, and this is about the electric aggregation. How you doing, Kathy?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good evening, trustees. Thanks for having me. I am here to basically talk a little bit about the current and the expiring electric aggregation program here in Whitewater Township. The township currently has a program that started in June, I believe. Yeah, June of 2023, and will expire at the end of the meter reads in May of 2025. And from that time period of June in 2023 till December, we ran reports. We've been continuing to run quarterly reports for the township. And on average, the participants have saved over $400 compared to the Duke Energy's price to compare. Overall, the community saved about $640,000 on the program. We have recently conducted a request for pricing, which is not unusual. We have to go out for bid, and there are two pricing components that go into electric pricing. The one is the cost of power, and it's market-related, so it's a commodity and it trades. And the other component is called capacity. And capacity is a cost that every power customer has to assume for enough reliability on the grid. And there is a cost tied to that. And the PJM is the grid operator that sets those prices. Unfortunately, in June of this year, the prices are going to increase for capacity a significant amount of money. What that means for the township is when we're going out to bid prices for electric, you're going to see an increase in your pricing. And it's going to be across the board. There's nobody that can avoid this cost. Either if you buy it through an aggregation program or Duke Energy, you are going to see this impact. And it is going to be significant in terms of percentage. It's probably going to increase energy prices about 40% for supply. It's unfortunate, but there's this demand that's set for power, and we're living in a world where there's a lot of data centers, the Amazons of the world, the cryptocurrency, and AI, and it's driving power prices up. There's not enough on the grid to significantly rely and generate for a specific region. So this is sending signals to generators to try and bring on more power. Unfortunately, the consumer has to pay the price. So what we did is we went out to bid. There's two suppliers currently that are the best offer. We send it out to multiple suppliers. So what we're recommending for the township is because of the commodity and it can change and the timing with your meetings and stuff, we're asking if you guys would be okay with authorizing a signature basically on an at or below price that we've already secured with the two suppliers. We're pretty confident that the price is going to come in a little bit lower than what we presented to you. We're waiting on some more data set from the utility, and we're hoping to get that price down as low as we possibly can. Right now, it's about 8.69 cents. The township right now has a fixed rate of 6.65, so it's about 2.2 cents per kilowatt hour that it's going to increase. And if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Does anybody have any questions for Kathy?
I don't. I read your email thoroughly and your explanation.
Yeah.
Pretty well answered any question or
I have a
thing
question.
I had.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I just have, so let's say we agree to a price now. If for some weird reason something happened or something and it significantly, something changed and it went back down by that time, a significant amount, will we still pay the lower? You're just saying if we sign this, it won't go above what we're saying?
I'm correct. I'm just saying that the price that we are proposing, this is the current bid, okay? So these prices are just, they're not executable tonight because they have to be refreshed with the supplier because we ran them as of Friday or maybe Thursday of last week. The suppliers were closed today, so we'd have to refresh the pricing. But we would keep it set at what it's currently priced at or below before we would ask you guys to execute. If it's higher, then we would have to obviously wait to get that price down.
And as individuals, we have the right to opt out at any time we choose.
Good point, yes. And customers and residents are welcome to shop on their own. It's just a little bit more cumbersome to figure out like what you feel is a good price compared to what the township's offering, because these programs, especially through Whitewater, you can get in the program or out of the program without a fee at any time. So they're welcome, residents can leave the program whenever.
Yeah, and just so they know, if they get out of the program, they just go back to Duke.
Correct.
So that's, just so everybody
Yeah.
knows. If you're out of the program, you can get out anytime you want. You just go back to Duke,
Yeah.
which,
I've researched them,
I-
and for the convenience factor of not having to do anything, your rates have always been
right.
Yep.
good. So
So what do you actually need from us tonight?
I just need you guys to basically vote that if the price is acceptable anytime between tomorrow and hopefully we'll get this done, within a reasonable amount of time, because we may not have till the next meeting, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That you would authorize a signature on a contract for that rate.
I will make that motion, Jim, what she just said.
yeah.
So the motion would be to,
Yeah, so I'm going to make the motion, just kind of walking through what to put in that,
would be
Kathy.
to authorize the township administrator, Peggy, to execute the contract.
Yes.
For an at or below the price listed in our.
Correct.
I'll second that motion.
Does that sound right, Kathy?
That sounds perfect.
You got it, Jim?
Yep.
And if any resident has any question, feel free to call. We take calls all the time from residents regarding the program. We're happy to do so. You'll get a live person, you're not going to get a robot or whatever. We will, a lot of times it'll be me. So just give us a call. And
Okay.
it's Energy Alliances.
Any other, before I do a voice vote, any other questions for Kathy, trustee Shively?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the explanation. Thanks, Kathy. Okay, next on our list, we got JT Westerfield Rumpke. JT, you want to come up, and I'm not going to read, you can explain what's on this agenda.
Sure.
Better than what I can read it, so.
Sure,
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, thank you for
notice.
having me.
Yeah.
For those who don't know me, I'm JT Westerfield, I'm the regional manager, landfill manager for Rumpke. I'm here tonight to kind of address a situation that kind of unfolded yesterday, and kind of want to just take a moment to address some concerns that were brought up. I want to first start off by saying that Rumpke takes environmental compliance very seriously, and it's our top priority. During these past weekend's events, our team was being proactive with regard to properly disposing of wastewater from the Bond Road landfill. Just kind of a summary of the events. So following Saturday's heavy rains, Rumpke dispatched a tanker truck on Sunday morning to assist with disposing of wastewater, which is known as leachate, at the Bond Road landfill. Wastewater is disposed of at the Harrison Wastewater Treatment Plant. Tanker trucks traditionally collect the material on the site Monday through Friday. However, the company is permitted by the Ohio EPA to run trucks on the weekend following rain events. While the tanker truck safely made it to the site to collect wastewater, road conditions quickly deteriorated with the snow that started on Sunday morning. The driver stopped on Brooks Road to prevent sliding on the roadway. He then contacted the local authorities, who got a hold of ODOT to help clear the roads and treat the roadways. Once the roadway was treated, the truck was able to safely travel to the wastewater treatment plant and properly dispose of wastewater. At no time was any wastewater leaking on the site or from the tanker itself. So I just want to be able to kind of give you guys an update of what actually happened and answer any questions that you all may have.
I don't have any questions. Trustee Shively wrote a response that I read and pretty well summed everything up and what you had confirmed, and I have no questions.
Okay?
I don't have any. You answered them all today, and I did some other things I needed to do, and I think we got pretty much,
Okay,
if anybody has any questions, they can always call.
absolutely.
Is anybody here that has questions for Rumpke? Anybody in the room that came to have questions for Rumpke? I appreciate you coming.
No problem.
So I sent out an email like, we need somebody here.
Absolutely.
And I know because trustees, we cannot communicate. Trustee Shibley was communicating on one end, and I was communicating with our administrator, and that's how your emails were coming out. So I appreciate it. If nobody has any questions, I just don't want to sit up here and try to answer for you.
No, absolutely. I'm fine. That's why we're here. We just want to make sure that everybody's getting the correct information and that, factual information is being
Yep.
kind of put out there and make sure everybody
Okay.
understand what happened and what the situation was. So
Okay.
happy to do it.
Greatly
Perfect.
appreciate it.
Perfect. I have nothing.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you guys so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the public presentation, I bumped in as a C, so everybody knows. We have Nick from Gosel, or is it Zofar, or from Gosel Trucking? Just so everybody knows, if you guys want to step up, please. I did send an email to Nick and Zofar, and again, our administrator was attached in this, just over some property damages in Hooven. So I just wanted to invite, because we have communicated with these gentlemen before, you guys always respond nicely, just to be fair to the trucking company and everybody else, that and again, is there anybody here that has any questions for the gentleman from Gosel Trucking?
First of all, hi for community members, and thanks for
Yes,
having
speak
us.
into the mic for,
Thanks for having us. Thanks for community members. If you guys have any questions, we're more than happy to answer all the questions.
yeah, do you want to,
Well, just so everybody knows what's going on, I've been getting some, and I think other people have too. There's been apparently some trucks that we've been dealing with, and they're getting on some roads down there they're not supposed to be on. They're getting into some people's yards
This is in Hooven.
in Hooven, and I feel real good that the people I'm talking to, you guys have been getting out there taking pictures and supplying everybody with the insurance information. There's really nothing about it. Anybody that's had a problem that I know of, they have given them all the information they need, and it sounds like you're trying to do the best you
help
can.
with communicate with anybody ask for the help,
Yeah.
and we're ready like 24/7. You guys I give the neighbors my email, personal phone number. If anything happens, like they can keep in touch anytime, 24/7. Like damaging for property, unfortunately, can happen. Anything can happen, which is out of my control. So I'm ready to provide the insurance companies and anything you guys need help. So beside this one, not only with the trucking or with the help with the emergency situation, we here in the town. So if you guys need any help, we have a lot of equipments, like anything to help, whatever we can. Yes.
And if anybody needs, if anything would happen, just like you're saying, they could come down to your place
24/7.
and come down there, and they'll give them whatever information on the
24/7.
truck that was just left, or the comment, or
Yes.
go in and get all the information.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
that's about as much as you can do, I think.
If anything else like we can do, also you guys like
Yeah.
you guys more than welcome.
I appreciate
Have a
it.
seat and like be our guest, like enjoy with a nice cup of coffee. So anytime.
Trustee Pope, do you have anything?
I do not have any questions.
And again, I reached out to Gosel Trucking just out of respect for them, if there's issues, so they can come in and speak what they have to do, so they're not being blindsided by social media. I'm trying to be proactive and keep you guys in the loop. And again, if something springs up for the March meeting, I'll let you gentlemen know, and maybe you can show up if it's an issue.
If need be.
Again, thanks for having us, Mr. Doc, Mr. Guy, like and community members. Like like I said.
Yep.
If anything, CEO of a company, CFO company, like anything you guys needed, we here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
gentlemen, thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming. Sorry to drag you down here, but nobody has any questions, so.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
showing up. Thanks. Okay, we'll go on into our township reports. Chief, if you want to do fire department?
It doesn't hurt
Yeah,
to
you
say
sent a
that.
lot of emails, so,
Making up for that quiet last year.
uh-huh.
Well, all things must come to an end, I guess. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Chief.
Our run totals for the month of January, that should be 2025, 79 EMS details with 85 patients, and 58 of those were transported, 47 fire details, and a total of 126 details for the month of January. I'll skip through that middle section unless you have any questions about any of that stuff there. Where are we at here? Our staffing for the month of January, no station closures, and all of our 12-hour shifts were covered by township paramedics 100%. And again, as always, we are still utilizing WestJet to supplement our paramedic coverage as needed. Probably going to see a little bit of a decline in our township paramedic coverage for our employees moving forwards. We do have one employee that's off on a work-related injury. She had to have some knee surgery, so she's going to be on the shelf for about 4 to 6 months. So that is one of our full-time paramedics, so we're going to be short one paramedic there every third day. Along with our staffing, I've sent you a proposal for a officer promotional process for a captain. Over recent years, we've lost some officers due to retirements and/or moving on to other jobs. I would like to request permission to conduct an internal promotional process to fill vacancies in the captain position and fill up to two of these positions with captains. A copy of the job description was sent over to the board for your review. I'm not sure if you had any questions about that process.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not, Chief.
Okay. I would like to go ahead and get that posted tomorrow. I believe I sent you a copy of the posting also. It'll be open for about 2 weeks. And then we will do, basically just do an internal interview process, is what we'll do for that position, those positions. With our part-time staffing, we're still currently on hold due to the weather with our physical ability testing. We do currently have 6 part-time applicants waiting for this test, and I'm not going to knock a good thing, but we're continuing to get interest in part-time applications. So I have other applicants that are still starting the process, so it's been nice seeing all that communication reaching out from potential applicants. The insurance service offices, or ISO, at the end of last year, we had our regular ISO audit. These are conducted every 5 to 7 years by ISO, and they give us a public protection classification, or a PPC rating, and our rating did remain the same at a 4 and a 4X. The X identifies non-hydrant areas in the township. So this rating does have an effect on property insurance cost for all property owners and business owners in the township. The best rating you can get is a 1, and the lowest rating is a 10. So we're a little bit better than half. And we're actually not that far from obtaining a 3. We're about 7 points from reaching a 3. So what our process is going to be over the next 5 years or so is to do what we can to put things in place to try to reach that 3. Now, some of these are beyond our control. I explained under here what they use to evaluate the fire department. Needed fire flows and water supply. Basically, that's your hydrants, your water lines, the amount of water that comes out of those lines and those hydrants. That's something that's not within our control. Emergency communications is basically the 911 center, and they received a perfect score just about every year. This year, they were like a 9.93 for some reason. But what we can control is the fire department section there: equipment, staffing, training, geographic distribution of fire companies, operational consideration, and community risk reduction. So those are things that are within our control, and we will take a look at those subcategories within the fire department, and we will do what we can to try to improve our rating. Too many pages here. Last month, we talked about the new ambulance and getting on the list for a demo for this year. Chief Corbin did reach out to our sales rep from Braun, and we can be put on a list, but that will not guarantee us a unit. So they did send over a purchase agreement, which if we sign the purchase agreement, send it back, we will be assigned to a unit that will be completed into September of 2025. So it's my understanding, if the year goes on and we see that we will not be able to take delivery of that, I believe it was 30 or 60 days, we can notify Braun that we are not going to be able to purchase that unit. So we can go ahead and sign that purchase agreement, send it back over to them. We will be earmarked a unit that will be completed in September of 2025. So
If we do that, if we skip on that one, do they automatically put us on for the next year? Like,
we would have to basically recontact them.
so
and-
it's not getting us ahead of
Yeah,
anybody else?
yeah,
Okay.
right.
But if we would get a unit that is in September 2025, typically it's 4 or 5 months before it's able to be put into service by the time it gets equipped with everything we have to do.
We would basically just have to put radios in it and decals and load it up with equipment, so
Okay, so
a month or two. So probably, it'd be closer to the end of the year before it was actually in service.
So it would still be a couple months before we could put it into service.
Well, it'll be completed in September, and then we would have to pay for it in September.
Right.
And then take delivery of it. But to finish it out, to outfit it, we would be looking probably November, December.
What's the
that-
latest we can notify them if we decide not to purchase it?
I believe it was like 30 or 60 days
Before
September.
September.
Okay,
So we're looking July,
into July. we
yeah,
can
into
still-
July.
And this is in the neighborhood of 300 and,
It is $369,850.
Yeah.
And basically, this is almost an identical demo to what we just purchased at the tune of $348,000,
so it's
2 years ago.
30,000 more 2 years
Well,
later.
last year, not 2 years ago.
They're only going to keep going up, they're not going
Oh.
to come down.
Yeah, and kind of, Peggy and I had this conversation the other day, we were talking about vehicles, and what's really making this hard is the turnaround time, is engines are now 44 months for delivery. And, you know, we have, the NFPA recommendation is every 20 years to replace your engines. If we go by that, we have a 2009 in Miami, or in Hooven, so 2029, technically, that should be replaced. So now we're looking right now of doing the legwork to replace that engine, to meet that 2029 deadline. I can't say that that engine today is going to be ready to retire in 2029. We may be able to get a few more years out of it because we're not like these big cities. We're not running the wheels off of these vehicles. And it's just kind of that one more thing that makes planning and purchasing and, you know, the prices keep going up and you know, I'm sure, I can't remember who told me, but someone just ordered an engine. I think it's Springfield Township. They're working on building one right now, and it's $1 million just for an engine. Now, they may have some equipment tied into that, but it's just the the prices and everything is just crazy. And it's interesting, I saw an article today in the New York Times, and it was specifically about emergency vehicle turnaround time and the costs, and how they've tied it to the stock market. Because Rev Group, who E1 is a part of Rev Group, these companies are going in and purchasing all of these smaller emergency vehicle companies and creating bigger corporations, bigger companies, and they're eliminating the competition. And you eliminate that competition, and you're basically, you're stuck at that, their turnaround times, parts are hard to get, it's, it's crazy.
I can share with you that Miami Township just took delivery of an engine they ordered 2 years ago. We're right at $850,000. Called the insurance company to put it on the insurance. They said, well, what's it worth? So had a chief call and say, if I reorder this engine today, what'll it cost? And he said, the answer was 1.3 million in 2 years. That was the increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Nice
that's,
truck, but it's nothing special. I mean, it's,
yeah, I've seen it, it's a very nice truck, and to me, it's almost the same as the one that we received in 2019.
yeah.
It's just, it's crazy.
Chief, we need ambulances.
No, I
We need
understand.
an ambulance that can get to where it needs
Well,
to be.
I was just sitting here thinking the
I need an
ambulance.
ambulance, I want to make sure.
Yeah, the
there's one that
ambulance
can get to-
we're looking at replacing is one that we bought
Yeah.
as trustees. Meaning Doug and I don't think Guy was on with us yet, but I mean, we're replacing stuff that we bought, and I'm thinking, these cost differences are just
Yeah, I can
terrible.
honestly say I would, looking back over my career since becoming chief, the number of vehicles that we've replaced, just, never thought I would stand in here, saying, wow, we've replaced a lot of stuff over the years. But it's all for necessity, it's not like, hey, we just, we need a new vehicle, We don't do that, so. And, let's see, I think I left out one of my proposals. But I have also some equipment proposals. The first one is safe kits. Actually, I'm sorry, they're both here tied together, sorry. The first one is a safe kit. I'm going to do it in my paperwork. This is for gas meters for hazardous material. In response to recent emergency incidents and recommendations from the Hamilton County LEPC, which is the Hamilton County Local Emergency Planning Committee, training classes that some of our members went to, it's become evident that additional and upgraded gas detection capabilities are necessary to ensure crew safety and effective hazardous material incident response. I have a proposal here for 2 4-gas multimeters and the addition of 4 specific gas meters for chlorine and carbon dioxide detection. So I did send these proposals over to you last week. Hopefully you've had a chance to look over them. Do you have any questions about those, about that one specifically?
What was the total amount of the gas meters and the accessories needed for them?
So the total for the gas meters and the accessories was right around, bad math, $9,500. So the meters and the meter kits were $7,915, and then they had requested $1,500 for some additional materials, cases, et cetera, to go to build these kits.
And those are meters that we can, the materials that they're adding on there, like the recalibration, because I know those.
Yeah, there's calibration gases and
Calibration
stuff like that.
gaskets. We use those also at work for confined spaces, so I'm familiar with this, and that's.
Is there any other questions about the safe kits? And then I also have one more proposal. So the second proposal is for security cameras for external perimeter and interior doorways for the fire stations. I did reach out to a couple other companies, and only one company sent me back estimates, and this is the Four Shark Group, and this company is recommended by Ron Bauman, who does our security systems here at the township. They're both 7-camera systems with recording capabilities and monitors for each station, so we can check out what's going on outside. And I believe it's 2 terabytes was on the recording or 16 terabytes was the recording capability of the HDR system.
Total amount on, for both stations?
So the total on that one is just shy of $14,000. And it was interesting to kind of review the quotes for this is the majority of the cost on the security system is labor. It's the running the Cat5 cables from the cameras and stuff like that through the buildings back to the main hub and stuff like that, so.
Have you seen any other prices anywhere else besides these? I mean, is that about, I mean, I know nobody else gave you an estimate, but did you have any idea? I mean, it's.
Jim sent me some information over that I didn't get a chance to look at, because I couldn't open it on my phone, and they just did some equipment upgrades over at Miami Township, but they did a little bit more extensive than what we're doing here, and I wasn't able to see, I didn't get a chance to look at that, Jim.
It's a lot more expensive, but it works with their door card system, has features like if you want to search for somebody with a beard and a red shirt, you can enter that and it'll go through and find the cameras that person's on. It's definitely a Cadillac. I talked with the gentleman who does the cameras for the Ohio River Safety Group.
Yeah.
And he recommended them the flock safety, which you are probably familiar with those. I know you're familiar with them. They recommended them highly because they're so easy to integrate in their system, but they are really expensive. Although I wouldn't mind seeing us go to the door card someday.
I think that's something for the future, you know, new buildings, stuff like that, when that time rolls around, is, I think trying to implement that kind of system into our existing buildings would not be cost effective, just personally.
And with them, you buy the system and you pay for a certain number of years of service, and then they continually upgrade them and everything, so, but every 5 years, or if you want to pay out 10 years, you could, but every 5 years, you're going to have $700 a camera in upgrade fees, which doesn't sound like much, but, you know, you're talking 14 cameras here, so, you know, you're talking what you're paying for them, you know, in just upgrade fees. So while it's a great system, you know, this is a much more affordable.
Keith, what question you got?
This is for Miami Town Hooven, or does that include Eaton?
No, it's just for Miami Town and Hooven. And the reason why it's just Miami Town and Hooven is not that E-Town is not important, but we really don't have a whole lot of stuff over there.
More spare stuff over there?
Yeah.
I just hate, man, I love having, when you get two or at least two, it's kind, I always hate. I think it's a good thing. I'd like
Trust
to
me.
get it done, but.
No, trust me, I totally understand and I agree, and kind of the way I look at it is, we reach out to somebody and ask them to provide us for a quote. They come out and look at everything and they don't send us anything back. Well, apparently they don't want our money.
Yeah.
Our business is not important to them.
Yeah, I get
That's,
Yeah.
Didn't we use them somewhere
So,
for something before?
For Shark?
So if you went, if we did something up to 14,000, can you still shop around and see if you can't find something?
Yeah, I can
You know, how
look
about,
around and see if I can find another company or something.
you know, I know you're good with this, but if we do up to 14,000, which hearing from Jim and what Miami Township has, that's a good price there, but if you can find something, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, I would consider that.
Yeah.
Do up to 14,000, if you can find something cheaper and save us a couple $100 or
Yeah, that's
$1,000, it'd be, you know.
I can do that.
So I'll go ahead and while Chief's here, I'll make a motion on those security cameras up to 14,000, but see what else you can find out there. And I know, you know, you don't want to wait too long on that either, so.
And I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
And since we're on, that's C in our new business, was that right with it was the safe kits. I'll make the motion to proceed with the safe kits not to exceed 9,500.
I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay. Do we want to go ahead and finish up with Chief? I will go ahead, Chief, and we'll just make a motion on it about the internal promotion process to fill the vacancies in captain position, right? And fill up to 2 positions, and you'll go ahead and get that posted soon with the job description?
Yeah, my plan is to, my plan is to get it posted tomorrow.
Okay, I'll make that motion. Let's go ahead and get those filled.
Yep, I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
The ambulance is a little harder to, you know, I would like to go ahead and make the motion to get put on the list, just so we are on that list, but I would like to take a little more time to review the finances, where we are, pay for, lease, loan, but I would like to go ahead and make the motion to get put on the list, knowing that in 60 to 90 days prior to September, we could still put the brakes, pump the brakes, and,
So that would be to sign the purchase agreement.
And sign.
yeah, to sign the purchase agreement, knowing that we could.
I have another question on that.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So first, I mean, the one it's replacing is not like junk, right? I mean, we initially were planning on this like in another year or so to replace it, right? I mean, it's not, right? Now what I think we were gonna order it because it was gonna take a couple years to get it, right?
Right, well, correct. And the other thing we're trying to do is kind of keep a rotation going, spaced out rotation, so we don't get into a lump of having to replace several vehicles. So basically, we have a 2017 and a 2019. And body-wise, the 2017 is in better condition than the 2019. The 2019 has just been used a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over each of those with a fine-tooth comb to see which one needs to move on and which one we hold on to.
I mean, my only thought of, okay, we signed the agreement with them, and if we agree on it today, I'm gonna agree on it, like say, okay, we're gonna sign that, knowing that, okay, we really are not making a concrete decision for a few more months. My only thing about that is, these guys have been real good about it, letting us get demos, I feel like, the little bit I've been around. I really hate to sign something with them knowing that there's a good chance that we're not gonna get it, because then the next year, if we say next year, like, man, we really want to get one next year, we're going to do it, they're like, yeah, they'll probably back out again. I mean, are we better off to say, hey, listen, we're going to skip it this year, definitely we're buying the demo next year, for sure, and then stick to our word, or do we say, hey, we do this and maybe we swing it or maybe we don't, and then You see what I mean? I don't like to basically say, hey, hold it for us, and then last minute back out. And then if we say, well, next year we're going to do it, they're like, well, they're just getting on the list. Are they really going to take it, or are they really not going to take it?
My contention with it is the way the price increase, we're looking at a $30,000 price increase over our last ambulance that we bought. That I fear that the price increase of 50% is what we're going to see in the ambulances, the way we're seeing in the fire engines. And my second contention I have with it is the reason we went with this last medic-style box is because the two older ones that we have are non-medic boxes, or they're bronze, or
They're all bronze,
they're
just,
bronze, but they've been through 2 or 3 chassis.
just, each one's been through one
Yeah,
chassis.
each of those boxes have worn out 2 trucks already. So that's my reason for wanting to go with a complete unit update to the medic box, because we only have one medic ambulance right now, correct? The other ones they still operate as
They're just,
medic.
the box is configured differently with compartmentation. The newer one is more geared towards the paramedic style response with storage of equipment and medications and stuff like that. So the compartmentation is different.
I would have no problem with it at all if we've had plenty of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
Okay.
be like, I wouldn't
Keith's
even think
had
twice.
his arm up for a while.
This 369,000, is that guaranteed? Or will that go up because of possible tariffs being enacted by Trump? Different-
It'll go up, even if we wait till 2026?
I mean, as of September, will that be guaranteed?
Now,
That-
if we sign the purchase agreement, that's the price of that
That'd be
ambulance.
That's guaranteed, yes. So the answer to your question is, yes, it's guaranteed. It was 369, I think, not
If
365.
if you ordered one custom built right now, they're about
3 years, yeah.
$390.
Well, if we custom built one, it would probably be more. And then also the turnaround time is 3 years.
So I'm just thinking if this was about the custom price when we bought the last one. So you can figure it's gonna be another 30,000.
And again, just, I'm providing you with information, is what these vehicle builders are doing is they're pushing more and more of these demos because of the turnaround time. You know, they're building these demos, and that's what they're trying to push and get away from all the customization. And that's another thing that was in the article that I read, is fire engine companies are going to start doing the same thing.
So, Chief, here's where I'm at, and this is what I think Trustee Shibley is asking. I'm all for doing the agreement, but also I want to be fair to Braun about, so how often does this happen? I mean, if I'm going to tell Braun, hey, we're going to do the agreement, I don't want to be turning around and we want to do this a year later and Braun's like, we're just going to keep you on the back burner, so.
I totally get it. I mean, another option is we wait until later in the year and we reach out and we say, hey, what do you have coming down the line the beginning of 2026? The first half of 2026. I mean, that's another option.
And I think that's kind of where you
No,
were
that's
at.
exactly, because I just had it in my head, the way we had been talking when we bought the last one, that we had a couple more years, and then the next one, because we thought we were going to have to order one, it was going to be 3 years before we got it. And I was thinking, I had it in my head how we were spacing those out. And then it just, I would feel better about getting one in 2026 than I would in 2025. Now, I do understand it's going to be cheaper, but
Yeah, so I understand what Trustee Pope's saying
Yeah, I
at
get it
the
all.
same time.
Right.
So it is a kind of dilemma. I mean, and I get it. If I'm
And
going
I
to tell
don't-
someone I'm on board and,
I don't want to back out.
I don't want to be still paying off an ambulance or just buying an ambulance at the same time that he's going to be coming to us and saying, we've got a problem with the fire truck. We really need to buy an engine. We need to get it on order. I hate to get, I agree with what the chief is doing, is spacing out
Right.
the purchases of all the vehicles.
Because
for
we
that
were
reason.
all bottlenecked at one point.
Yes, it was,
We were. When I first became a trustee, I think it was a hot mess, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So I do get that, and that does make me nervous of, now all of a sudden,
and
we're,
while I totally agree with trustee Shibley's concerns, I will say that my fear of Braun saying, well, you said no, we already approved to him on the last purchase agreement, we bought it.
Yeah.
So it's not that we'd be turning a bunch of them down in a row or more of them. We've already proven to them our genuineness. If we for some reason backed out on this one, I don't think it would be.
It's not by any way,
As
shape, or form that I don't want to just
Yeah.
give the truck. It's just trying to balance out the the money. That's my thing. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
by no means do I think we don't need it, or I think you're asking for something that we shouldn't
Right, we gotta
get.
make sure we can pay
Just-
for it.
I'm just
yeah.
trying to say how we can run.
So
keep it rolling.
basically, we have 3 or 4 months to come up, can we pay for this or not? So, and you have a motion to go ahead and let's do this.
I didn't make the motion, but I will make the motion that we go ahead and sign the purchase agreement, knowing that we need to make an absolute, definite financial decision by July.
Chief, you're making this hard on me, you know that, right?
Actually, it'd
well-
be June, the June
I
meeting.
feel good either way. I mean, if we do it, I'm not going to be, I don't feel bad about it either way. I'm just,
So I will second the motion, Chief, but Jim, we really need to take a look, Fiscal Officer Brett,
Yes.
we need to take a look at our money. I do agree with Trustee Shibley about the whole Braun thing, but also I'm concerned if we do not, do we run into an issue a year or two down the road to where now all of a sudden
We can't
we
get-
got other issues and.
Well, the last one we financed, $334,850. And we, that one will be paid off in January of '31.
Okay.
So we took that one over 7 years. I did some checking because I want to talk to you about the truck for the maintenance department too. You know, as long as we can make really close to what we're spending on interest, then I don't think it's a bad idea to go ahead and finance things, but, you know, we'll see what the Fed does between now and July. With
Right.
what they do with the rate cut, so.
Okay. Well, I went ahead and I seconded it. Let's do a voice vote, please.
All right, Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
yay.
and Mr. Kane.
Yay. Chief, anything else?
I think that's probably enough for this meeting.
Yeah, I think. That's probably enough for the year, I think.
Oh, hold on now. It's only February. No, I do not have anything else.
Okay.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and thanks for getting all that out to us. I know it's not easy, and thank your officers and everybody who had a hand in this, trying to put this together for us. We do
Will do.
appreciate it.
And especially thank you for the heads up on it. No surprises.
No, I-
Knew a month ahead.
No, I know, and, you know, the only time surprises come up is, you know, when something lands in our lap and stuff like that.
Right.
But no, I try not to give you all any surprises.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief. Next on here, we got the Maintenance Department. You want to do that, Trustee Pope?
Yes, sir. Community Development Block Grant. Peggy and Josh have been working with the CDBG to install pickleball courts here at the center. Everything has been okayed with CDBG, and the contractors are looking to start in April, weather permitting. And they've also, well, they have awarded J.K. Muir for the pickleball courts and Kane Concrete to do the ADA compliant sidewalks. And Josh will inform us as things progress. Dump truck and salt. Josh attached the quote in our packet from Rush Trucking and Napide to replace the 4400 International we currently have. If the board were to approve this quote, we would receive the truck late summer, hopefully in time for the next snow event and season. Township mowing, Josh has been in contact with Craig Roush, who has cut the township properties for us the last few years. They are willing to continue working with the township for the upcoming season of 2025. With the permission of the board, he would like to continue working with Roush Brothers the 2025 season. There will be no increases to this quote. That's good. There wasn't any increases last year, if I believe.
I think they started here my first year, so this is like
3 or 4.
9 years in a row that they haven't raised.
Yeah, they haven't raised the
Yeah.
price in a long time, and these day and ages, I'm very,
Phew, yeah.
and they do a
That's
very,
impressive.
they
Yeah.
do a very good job.
Yeah.
They're a township resident, though. That's a part of it, I think.
Well,
Get back a little bit.
while we're discussing, I'll make the motion that we continue our relationship with Roush.
I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibele,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
And might as well, while we're in here with the dump truck, I know I'm not done reading it yet, but with the dump truck, Josh and I worked over that contract quite a bit. I know we made a couple pretty big changes because there was a couple things that he didn't see, but I would like to make the motion that we purchase the dump truck not to exceed 200,000. And that's with the plow mount on it and the spreader box mount and controls and all that stuff. So I'd like to make that motion.
Did we agree on blue? Okay.
And you did get all the, because I know there was an issue.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we got things hashed out, and then I'm
Good.
gonna go over it again with Josh and just confirm that but yes,
Okay.
that's, everything's hashed out to the best of my knowledge, correct, Peggy? Yeah.
I'll second that motion. Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibele.
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
Okay, and then the next thing we need to discuss, Josh would like to get approval from the board to hold our annual cleanup day, April the 26th, that's Saturday, from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. or until full. With this approval, he will be contacting dumpster rentals for drop-off and pickup times, and I know Peggy has been working on dumpsters see if she can get dumpsters donated for tire disposals. I don't know if you had any luck with that yet? Okay, we were just working on that last week through Hamilton County, actually came to our We Thrive meeting and was just giving us a little insight on who to talk to and stuff. And yeah, it's resource. So, but I would like to make the motion that we have our annual cleanup day on April 26th.
I'll second that. Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibele.
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay. Just on the cleanup, real quick, Peggy, I know O'Rourke in the past said that they would be willing to donate dumpsters or whatever, so I don't know if there's something you need there. Look into that, and if you have no luck with it, let me know. I know the contacts over there. Jim and I have met with them in the past about the whole schoolyard, playground area, which we'll be meeting with them again, but I know they have said that, so that might be something to jump on with O'Rourke right there in Hoover.
Yeah, the only stipulation that we had is the reason we went with who we're using now was only because they came and got the boxes that day when we were done.
Yeah.
But I'm sure O'Rourke
Yeah,
is,
I'm sure we could figure
yeah.
something out.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if we can
Yep.
work out something with them. And that's all I have.
Okay, trustee Scheibele, you have anything for trustee Pope on maintenance?
No, sir.
All right, community center, trustee Scheibele, you want to read that?
Attendance from 12:17 to 2:10. Euchre during the weekdays were 78. Euchre on Friday nights was 142. Chair volleyball was 43. Bluegrass was 79. Country music was 51, for a total of 264. Rentals for February, shelter is closed, 1 for the center. For March, the shelter is closed, there's 0 for the center. Just a reminder for the programs available at the center: chair volleyball, euchre, bluegrass, and country music. For more information, call 513-367-6046. And as always, we're looking for new ideas or programs for the center. If anybody has any thoughts, please contact Carolyn at 513-367-6046. Was that supposed to be 117 to
Yes.
210? Okay.
Yeah,
It needs to be 117
yeah,
to 210.
yeah. Yeah, we're all the way back in, yeah. Trustee Pope, got anything for Trustee Shibley on the community center?
I do not.
Okay. Committee reports. Jim, you want to do the water sewer district?
The 128 project continues to progress, and other than that, I have nothing new. Our next meeting is next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock here at this building. Everyone's welcome. So that's pretty much all I have for that.
Yep, and just a reminder, those are fourth Tuesday of every month, the Water Sewer Board meetings, right here at 7. Next, we have economic development. Do we want to discuss anything on that, or?
No, just that we did have the special meeting which AS held, looked at the Miami-Town corridor in general, and I think we came up with a consensus of where we'd like to see that go.
Yeah.
I think that pretty well sums it up.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work on that Miami-Town area for economic development, so there's a lot of moving parts with that, now with that sewer coming into play, so we'll just keep you posted as it goes along, and hopefully this kind of pans out, and we just want to be careful what we're doing down there so we don't get ourselves in a jam, and I think they said end up with a bunch of car washes down there, you know. So, you know, make sure it's some type of economic development that's going to benefit the community and all throughout Whitewater Township. So we're working on that. That's a work in progress. Everything takes time. Next, we got We Thrive. Trustee Pope?
Yeah, We Thrive, we met here last Monday night. We discussed the upcoming spring cleanup day here, and we also discussed the litter getter. That's April 12th? Have to real quick double check the date. Yes. April 12th, from 9 a.m. till noon. We will be closing Sand Run Road. Indiana was doing the upper end, closing it and doing it, so we're jumping on with them, closing the lower end of the Ohio side of Sand Run. So any volunteers, we can get any helpers, we're gonna have shuttles there, shuttling people up and back and grabbing garbage bags, and so we're meeting at just before 9 a.m. at the corner of Lawrenceburg Road and Sand Run Road at the Green Acres storage lot there. We're meeting there in the morning and dispersing and doing the litter cleanup on Sand Run Road and hopefully on that intersection area there, Lawrenceburg Road too, while we're there. So that was what we discussed at We Thrive. If anybody has any questions, hopefully I can answer.
I do not.
I do not.
Okay.
Next on our list, we have solid waste. Trustee Shibley.
I think Rumpke
I
took
think
care
that
of
was,
that one
I think
for
that
you.
was answered for you, right?
Yes and no. So, a couple things real quick. Rumpke did take care of the majority. The last couple days have been kind of crazy, and I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out of all the stuff that went on, and basically, the way it looks and from what it's come back, it's basically the only way I can describe it is the boy that cries wolf, and that's the part I hate about it. when people report this stuff or come out with stuff and it's false and they're blowing stuff up, and the problem is you get so many people. When I had older people contacting me, should we evacuate? Should we? And I'm like, I don't even think there's anything. It really was nothing. I mean, it was normal day-to-day business. I guess my point of the whole thing is, I wish people just would not do that. Do some research, check it out. I love that people want to be involved, and Lord, if you see something, report it. I get that. But to go out on the internet and blow things out of proportion and then fuel the fire on top of it, to me, only hurts everybody. Because the day that there is an issue and there is a problem and we need people to get up and move and evacuate, or something happens like the styrene thing or whatever, all of a sudden people are like, this probably ain't even true. This probably last time. I mean, I just hate that. Please just take the time, get the right information out there, and inform people. My biggest thing to everybody that was on Facebook that was doing it was, why weren't you calling 911? You're going to go on Facebook and you're going to get everybody fired up. Though before you do any of that, call 911. And if there is an issue, then let the first responders evacuate people. Get it out there on the news. Find out what's going on. Get the situation under control instead of, it's just aggravating to see. So I hope that everybody has learned, and I hope that people don't do that as much as they did. The other thing I wanted to do is remind people, I've always been one of the front runners of trying to stop the dump. I tell people all that, and when a situation like this comes up, sometimes I feel like people think I'm on their side. I don't have a problem at Rumpke. They do a job that people don't want to do. Do I want the dump? I do not want the dump. There's not anybody in Whitewater Township or in the surrounding area that wants to dump. They know that. I talk to them today. That's the first thing I always tell them. But what we have to remember is what they're doing up there by removing that water up there is something that has to be done. If they did not remove that water from the holding tanks, which is the water that leaches through the garbage or whatever's in the ground from Monsanto or whatever is there, if they did not do that, eventually it would overrun and it would go down the creeks and it would go everywhere. So that is something that has to be done. And that also is something that the majority of that up there isn't something Rumpke did. They bought it, it was already like that. And they're taking care of it. They've spent a lot of money over the last 25 years hauling that water out of there. And it really was not their mess. And I don't like that it's up there. I wish it wasn't, but if they would pull out of there, if something would happen, if you said Rumpke's gone or whatever happened and they go, then the state or somebody is going to be paying for somebody to haul that water out of the state's. Right. The state's going to be paying for it. Somebody is going to, no matter if it's Rumpke in there or not, if they don't dump another load of garbage in there the rest of their life, somebody still has to go up there and haul that water out of there every week. So I know a lot of people get mad at them, and I know a lot of the situations, and I feel your pain. That they're not ideal, and I feel sorry for the people that get woke up when the trucks are in there at night and stuff, but I can reassure you from what I've seen in the calls and the people I've talked to today over the last couple days, they're doing it when they need to be doing it. I mean, they're not paying somebody to work on Sunday because they want to go up there and aggravate people on Sunday. It needed to be done. They were trying to get ahead of it so it wouldn't get too full, or it wouldn't become a possibility of something. It never did get over halfway full. So it never was even in the halfway full mark. So they were ahead of the game. So that's the other thing I'd like to say. It's somebody has to do that, whether it's them or not. It's somebody would have to. The last thing is I promised everybody I would find out about properties. They have bought 3 more properties over the last 6 months or whatever. In May 29th of 24, they purchased 10996 Sand Run. And then in December, December 10th, they closed on 11028 Sand Run, which is basically what they say is on both sides of their entrance down there. They had purchased that. And then they did close this past Friday, the 14th, on that 1137 Bond Road, which is the old Wilson and Herbert house and garage right up there across from the old fire department. They have no plans. It's not that they're moving forward or anything. They had the opportunity, each one of those, to purchase, and they just purchased them. So they say it wasn't something they went out, something they needed or they had to have. Basically, they came to them with the opportunity to buy it. I know the Wilson and Herbert one, there was some deaths in the family and some stuff like that, and they had the opportunity to buy it, so they bought it. So that is the 3 properties that they bought. They are not out actively trying to buy more property. If it comes available and somebody approaches them, they want to sell, they could possibly buy more, they said, but they're not actively trying to buy. So that is the 3 pieces. I knew there was 2, but there was actually 3. And that's it.
Thank you for your hard work on that.
It's-
And just real quick on that solid waste, again, Rumpke showed up to the meeting, and I appreciate that, and Gosel Trucking, and I think what Trustee Shibley even was mentioning is it's about inducing panic for nothing on social media. So I hope people are a little more mindful of that, because
I hope so.
it throws a lot of wrenches in when you start inducing panic that's something that's not true.
Especially some of the older people that don't
Yeah.
know how to get on internet and look
Still-
up if it's
Sure.
true or not. They believe,
And that's what was happening.
especially when it's under people, they think it's real news. And it's,
Yeah.
When you talked to me earlier and they said that the waterworks downstream was closing their intakes and not going to produce water. The only real waterworks of any size downstream is the Cleves Waterworks on Kilby Road. And I sent a text to the operator there, and his response was, he's seen what was posted. His response was, she's lying. That's
I would like to make that known to the people that are looking. There's a lot of people, I remember the Cincinnati Post. There's lots of people that do. The Cincinnati Post that is on Facebook is not the original Cincinnati Post that used to deliver newspapers. That is, it's misleading and people think it is, and it is not. I've spoke to them, that is.
Cincinnati Post is no longer in existence.
Well, they still own it, though. The
Right.
same people still own the rights to it, and I talked to them. That it was never sold. They still have the rights to it. The Cincinnati Post that is on Facebook is not the Cincinnati Post that used to produce mail or newspapers and deliver them and do the news. That actually had 30 employees, I think, at one time, that
Right.
they said that went out and got news and did that. It is not that. It's a separate thing, so just take that as it is. And this is where most of this misinformation came from.
Yes.
Was from that website. And they said they were going to close, later on in the day, they said they were closing water down, and they were shutting water off to places, and because of contaminant, they were saying all this stuff, and then none of it is true. I mean, not even remotely true, nothing. That's it. I could go on all night.
No, I know, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, we can't communicate this. We're not allowed to talk to each other about this, so it's, go ahead, Peggy.
I just received word, we are getting our tire dumpsters for the cleanup day.
Okay, good. We are getting our tire dumpsters for cleanup day.
Is that 2 or 3? It's 2, isn't it?
2 for
2 for
sure.
sure.
2 for
We're
sure.
going to try to get 3.
Good, good. Thank you, Peggy. Okay, let's move on. West Chad.
West Jed, we have a meeting April 3rd. Nothing
Okay.
has transpired between last month and now.
All right. We're going to jump right into old business, which we already did, the international for maintenance. So that old business. Anybody got anything else under old business?
You want to talk about purchasing that outright versus financing yet, or we have some time?
On the fire truck or on the ambulance?
No.
No, on the international.
On the international.
International.
Question I have on the international, 100% of that can come out of road and bridges, or?
Well, so the way I broke it up in our appropriations, this year in permissive motor vehicles, we had a carryover amount of $866,000. Our projected revenue was 99.5, so that gave us a total of $965,500, and I took $50,000 out of that fund to put towards a truck purchase. Our road and bridge fund is a little leaner. Carryover in that was $171,600. Projected revenue was $41,900. So total available there was 213.5. And I took 45,000 out of that. And then the gasoline fund, we carried over 1,123,000, which sounds like a lot, but when you think about $100,000 to redo a mile of road or more,
Right.
it's really not that much. And our projected, you guys have done a great job of building that up, and Josh has too. Our projected revenue is only 186,500 in that fund. And I went ahead and did 125,000 that we could take out of that, giving us $220,000 to do the truck and whatever else would come up with that. Or, when we were at the township conference, we talked with the folks from International at Rush. They can do financing at about 5.1%. Right now, we're making about 4.8 in the STAR funds, and that's on its way down. So their rate will come down, but they're always going to be 3 or 4 tenths more. Harrison Building alone said when we get closer, they'll give us a rate, but you know, if the rates get cut, they'll come down. They were within, I think, 3 tenths of what we were making in STAR funds. So the decision is, do you want to take that money out of the fund and not have it there for repairs? And basically, it costs you 0.5% to borrow the money versus keeping the money in the bank.
Is the money in those 3 funds invested in the STAR fund, or is that?
Most of our money is either in the STAR funds or in Red Tree. Talked with the people at Red Tree I just ran into the guy in between classes, and he said, I had called them back in November and said, hey, what can you do to help me make some money because my STAR funds is falling? And to their credit, they said, stay where you're at right now. Don't do anything. So I thought that was good of them, not to say, oh yeah, just give us some money, we'll do something with it. But when I talked with them up there, they said between now and the next Fed cut, they think they can probably lock us in at 4.25% for a few years, and they're recommending that we do that. So I'm going to be meeting with them probably next week to go over that. But that's money that's not readily available to us. So the STAR funds we can have here in 2 days. So we have to be careful how much we put with Red Tree, because while we can get it, it may take 2 weeks to get it, and we may pay some penalties and some of the stuff. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you want my opinion,
We could purchase it, but financing is kind of making a little more sense.
yeah.
So we're not spending,
I personally would buy it outright,
Well,
just because I'm that way.
the decision I would like to make is not to make a decision tonight and get closer to the purchase date when we can know more.
but we can
we'll
buy
know
it
what that-
outright, so
yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I mean, if
because-
we know we can
Yeah.
buy it outright.
We know we can buy it outright, so if we wait a little while, I think it's gonna be better for us if we wait. Right? Because we think rates might drop a little.
Yeah, and we wouldn't buy it until, or we wouldn't sign up for that until the truck was about ready.
Yeah, and we,
And when would that be? How long?
somewhere around September.
Okay. Kind of like the whole fire, the ambulance.
Well, the truck will be done in probably 3 months, 4 months, but the chassis, the cabin chassis will be ready.
Pay for that when that's done. That part.
Okay,
So we still got time, though.
We still got
I
we
mean,
still
it's
got a
good that we
couple
know,
months.
we know
got-
we can
Yeah.
pay for it.
We know we can pay for it, Jim, if we need to, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's keep an eye on that
And the
and
one thing that,
Yeah.
push this back to the
And
next.
these rates on the
meeting.
truck and this is all through the state bid,
Right.
and they're cheaper than what we can go
push
up
this
there. and-
back to at least a March and bring it up
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Keep watching it every month.
I cannot remember the lady from Strasser's last name, first name's Paris. She gave you a price to do some work in E-Town that we put in the projection for this year.
Was that for roads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said that, I think she said that all the roads in E-Town were good candidates for slurry seal. Am I correct?
We do have to have some repairs done, that's what
Yeah.
we're waiting on the bids for that.
So we're probably gonna spend, you know, if we want to start a road maintenance program, which we need to get back onto that,
Yeah.
couple $100,000 a year, you know, that's gonna eat up these funds fairly quickly.
Yeah, I do know this slurry sealing, the crack sealing, everything we've been doing really saves the township a lot of money.
Yeah.
Staying proactive on those
And I
roads.
don't know if anybody sat through the pavement management class. I was amazed, and if you didn't sit through it, it's available online. See some of the things they can do, like when we did Cop Lane, when we piggybacked with the county. They have a product they could have come in with the next year and sprayed on that, or our parking lot here, that extends the life 5 years, and it's a cheap product comparatively, you know, to get an extra 5 to 7 years out of your blacktop.
Yeah, we need to get back on that program for
Yeah.
that to save the
So-
roads. Yep.
So I'll have the information, I can,
Okay.
you know, like I say, my preference and is always going to be if we can afford it to pay for it, not pay the interest, but,
But there's always the other side of when you're, yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
I got you.
The same thing, we technically, we could afford to pay for the life squad, but I'm going to recommend that we finance that again.
Yeah,
Just so we don't run ourselves short.
yeah.
So unless the chief found money in one of the desk drawers over there. No.
Any other old business? Anybody?
I do not.
Okay, we'll jump down into new business. Officer promotional process, we've done. The new Braun ambulance, we have done that. So we did A, B under new business, and we have the equipment proposals, we completed C. D, the Energy Alliance, we did that. And then the Hamilton County Alert Hamilton County is a,
That's something that I wanted to,
yeah, you want to talk about
To
this? Do you want me to
talk about-
read this real quick, or Alert Hamilton County or Alert HC is a mass notification and warning system used to alert residents about emergencies and other important information in Hamilton County. Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, the Hamilton County Communications Center, and participating jurisdictions within Hamilton County are authorized to issue alerts and notifications. So Jim, you want to touch on that?
so I think we're all probably pretty familiar with that. You can do the app on your phone and do the Smart 911 app. This is something that I'd like to talk with the chief and Peggy about more, and you guys. Village of Pleas invited Nick Crosley out to talk about this at their safety committee meeting. And I felt bad for the gentleman who chairs their safety committee. He only had 2 members there, and he invited Miami Township, North Bend, and Addison. Nobody else showed up other than me. But Nick as you know, puts on a great show anyway. But I assumed this cost a lot more. He was just throwing out a number for the village of Cleves with residents of about 3,000, that would be about $500 a year. And for the Miami Township, at 16,000 residents, probably $1,700, $1,800 a year, so we'd be somewhere in between that. What this would do is it would give us the ability to, and they come in and they train whoever you're gonna let publicize things. So if the fire department has a fire and they're closing a road, rather than try to go through EMA and bother them with it, somebody, Peggy or Scott, whoever, could put that on the alert system. It wouldn't be something that would be available to people who say that the water system's going to close down.
Yeah,
But
thank goodness.
if there were something to happen with the water system in the township, either Twin Rivers or Cleves or even the city of Cincinnati, we could, put that out to our area.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
is this something that could be used for non-emergency alerts such as closing Sand Run for the litter cleanup
That would
or,
be something that they would put out,
okay,
that the road's going to be closed. Now, what they wouldn't do, how many times a year do we get a notice that Lawrenceburg Road's going to close because of flooding?
zero,
We put that on our website usually, and
yeah.
I
but-
think Ilona just puts it on and then automatically takes it off the next morning and puts it on the next day.
But nobody gets in, they just have to look to see
You have
it,
to look at our website
yeah.
for that. It's not for something like that, it's for, if, I don't know, if a truck turns over or something and, we want to put it out there and we don't want to go through them. If we don't have the people to do it, we can still go through them. They still monitor everything, so if somebody puts something out there that says the Ohio EPA is closing all waterworks in Hamilton County or in Whitewater Township, they're going to catch that and they're not going to let that out.
So are you thinking you're going to get with Peggy and Chief and see?
I'm thinking we should at least investigate it, or Scott?
When Alert HC came out years ago, they talked about each community could set up their own. So I believe this is what you're talking about. So basically, we would have an Alert Whitewater Township.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just, instead of Alert Hamilton County, it's specific to Whitewater Township residents, correct?
Yeah.
Yep, so it's, yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you-
think it's something that the township should definitely look into.
will you guys look into that and then you guys bring it back to us?
I would like to
I mean,
nominate
I'm
Josh,
liking it, but I'd like.
since he's not here.
I really like it, but the only problem I see is, how do we let people know so that they'll load the app on their phone to do this?
Do they have to put the app, or does it automatically alert
No,
the phones that are in the
It
area?
automatically goes out to all cell phones within.
In a certain
Oh, okay, so it
Yeah.
does target the cell phones in the area,
Yeah.
okay.
Like during the siren leak, if you
Okay.
drove, if you were driving down State Route 128 and you got to the,
You
Okay,
got to that point,
Evacuation area?
it would go off.
your phone got the alert until they turned it off.
okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was part of that app that you loaded for, that they were
I think you
telling us
can
about.
do it that way as well. Again, it's been a while since I've heard the presentation, but I think, for lack of a better term, is geofencing to the township area, any cell phones and stuff like that, devices that are within the boundaries of Whitewater Township would be notified, but,
Yeah. And I think you can even break it down into smaller
yeah,
areas.
smaller, yep.
If you wanted to do Blue Jay and you want to do Miami Town proper, Hooven, E-Town, you can, I think you can break it down
Yeah, I
into
would-
smaller geographic areas. So,
Yeah, I think it's something that we should look into, just based on, I mean, we had the styrene leak, and then, we had the chlorine incident at the waterworks
Absolutely.
facility. It's just something that we wouldn't have to rely on going through the EMA or through the county to get those sent out. We could do it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
and that chlorine leak remote location.
Yeah, and
That in a populated area could be
Yeah.
a real hazard. Same with, if you had a boil water advisory for the waterworks. I know we
Say
don't.
my name.
So,
Peggy, oh, sorry.
Peggy.
Now, if there's something we need to do with Nick Crosley or EMA or anybody, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to sit in.
You know, if we want to talk with him, and then we can invite him out to a meeting.
And this is the gentleman that was here at our big meeting we had
Yeah.
that we spoke about the Hamilton County alert. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to see the presentation he did for Warren Davidson, and it's amazing all the information that they have at their fingertips there. That group is really,
Yeah, they're an amazing group.
yeah. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief. Any other new business? Trustee Shibley or
Nope.
Trustee Pope?
Nope.
Next, public comments. Come on up, Keith.
First of all, I wanted to comment on a comment you made, Guy. Everything on the internet's not true?
Yeah, you're right. That's sad, right?
Imagine that.
I'm glad I'm not on it.
Yeah.
I just want to give you a little history, a few things, why I come to these meetings. As of January 26, 1985, my mom and dad lost a house in a fire that I lived in. As of February the 4th, I came to my first trustee meeting. So it's been 40 years that I've been coming to these meetings. I've learned a hell of a lot over the years of coming to all these. Been able to keep you guys straight, trustees before you, straight on things. But with losing the fire, everything we owned was lost in this fire. There wasn't anything left of the house, hardly at all. We started coming to the meetings. Well, trustees at that time really had no idea of anything that was wrong, what was going on, or anything. The fire department kind of denied everything that was said and done that day of the fire. There was a string of things going on that nobody could explain why they happened. We fought for years to get fire department changed and different things to happen. It finally came down 2 years later, we filed a lawsuit against the trustees due to a quirk at that time with the state legislation. There was an opening at the time of the fire that we could sue the township over it. So we did. Now, we ended up not making any money on it because we had to settle out of court because of the Supreme Court ruling that came down that kind of basically threw us out of the court. So we just basically got our legal expenses paid for by the township, and then that's all we was able to get out of it. But we did force the township to take care of the fire department at that time and make it better than what it was. Part of that was, one thing that I want to go back is to, there was a report that was done for the fire that happened that day. We were told that once the report was done, we would get a copy of it. We could not, they had got it done about 4 or 5 months later. We could not get a copy of that report due to the lawyer at that time said they couldn't give it. And we fought because we knew that was a public information paper, and anybody could have come down and got a copy of it, but they wouldn't give it out. Now, there was really nothing discriminating in there as to what was caused all the problems at the fire that night, but they would not give it to us. And it wasn't until after we sued the fire, Sig Braun got elected that year. He came down to the house one day and was wanting to know what he could do to help solve the problem. And so the first thing was, we wanted that copy of that report. He went down to the town hall at that time in Miamitown. About a half hour later, he comes back with a report. Now, that's what we were asking for at the time. We wanted a better understanding from the trustees as to what was going on in this township. and a better response from the fire department at the time. And I think over the years, it's all improved with the trustees and with the fire department. You know, there was a lot of fighting going on for the first couple of years about what was going on, what wasn't going on. And there was just a lot of denial back then. But since then, it's all changed. And I'm glad that everybody in the township has, I think, gotten a better deal out of everything with it over the years. And I just want to say that, you know, hopefully things keep improving. And whether I keep coming down here much more, I don't know. 40 years is a lot of time to spend coming to these meetings. And back then, it was 2 meetings a month. And that's when we were building a house. We still took 2 nights a month and came down here to the meetings while we were building a house. And probably over those 40 years, I've only missed maybe 35 meetings. So hopefully, you know, I keep coming and keep going with this, but yeah, I never know. But I just want to say that, you know, you guys are doing a better job than anybody else that I've seen up here. You're more cordial to the people that do come in here and ask questions than some of the trustees from years ago. And I'd just like to thank you guys for what you've been doing. Hopefully you keep it up.
Thank you, Keith. And if you're not at a meeting, we're going to come look for you.
Yeah, we're gonna send somebody out. We can't have a meeting without you. I mean, geez.
Well, I do know one thing that I wanted to say too about it was Nadine Swift was a good friend of mine. And about 4 nights after the fire, she came to our house where we were at. And she said she was going to join the Whitewater Township Fire Department at the time. And now she's the fire captain of the West Jan.
Yeah,
And I think everybody kind of appreciates her, what she's done over the years with everything with that.
absolutely.
So, you know, it has brought a lot of good. You know, it's cost the township a lot more money now because we've got paid firemen and everything over that over the years. But, yeah, you know, it's, hopefully things keep improving for everybody around here then.
And Keith, we only kid our chief when he brings this to us, so we're only kidding with him, so. He went on a streak for a couple months and did not ask us for anything, so we knew he was bringing us a whole laundry list when 2025, yeah. He was saving it up. He was getting, he was really buttering us up for, what, three or 4 months, wasn't it, Chief? Yeah. It was 5, you're right, 5 or 6,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys spent a lot of money tonight.
Yeah, we did. It's needed, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's some stuff you haven't done for a long time and getting different things done. And you're going to spend more, you're talking about fixing the roads down E-Town and all now, you know.
And Keith, you know, when I started up here, we had everything was just all crammed together, and wasn't it, Chief? We had no map of when to buy things and put it into a rotation, and, you know, when you don't have that, it takes time. Same thing, we're talking about the roads. We need to get back on that and put it in rotation, because we don't have enough money all of a sudden having an emergency come up, and, you know, we have to rotate things through, and what we do at the township.
Right.
Purchasing equipment and roads and all that. And, you know, and I think, you know, the trustees that sit up here with me, they do a good job on that, and, you know, I'm with you. So I do appreciate your comments and everything you do for the township as well. I wish we had more folks coming, just like, you know, Diane and everybody else. I wish we had more folks coming to the meetings.
Right, well, yeah, a lot of times it's just me. The
Yeah.
only body from
Yeah.
the public here, you know, and it's
Yeah.
been like that for years a lot of times, so yeah.
I came around the corner and I'm like, oh, we got us a crowd in here, and, you know, and I really thought that, you know, and I think that's why we had Rumpke come in, the Gosel Trucking, come in and tell these folks what's going on, and because if we don't have them here, then they're gonna come after us, and then we're gonna try to answer, and I can't answer for what Gosel Trucking.
Well, I know there's a lot of empty chairs here, but I know more and more people are telling me they watch the meetings
Yeah,
online, and that's encouraging. So
is.
we are being seen, we're just being seen without
yeah.
us knowing they're there.
You know what's crazy? I've been here the least, but it seems like with the fire department, to me, the fire department seems so much better today than it was 6 years ago.
yeah.
It just seems like everybody's getting along. It seems like you've got it working good. I mean, I know
Great
towards the beginning,
leadership.
there was.
Yeah, we've had our issues there.
Okay.
Oh, there you go, I jinxed it.
Yeah, and we've had our issues there, trust me. Okay.
Well,
thank
that's all I
you,
really
Keith.
need then. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks, Keith.
thank you, Keith.
Don't quit coming, seriously.
Any other public comments? Comments from the board?
I have one comment I wanted to bring up. Right before I came over here, I was checking my emails for the day, and I saw an email from the Weisses on parking in Miami Town. I know the rest of the board hasn't seen it, so I'd like to let you know that we are looking at that and get answers for you and let you know.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it because I was still dealing with all the Rumpke stuff,
Yeah, so.
and I didn't.
Yeah, as
check
you
the
could
email.
tell, we had a whole lot of happenings.
So we will definitely get an answer for you, and, you know, I want to know those answers also and see
Yeah.
what's
Okay.
going on. So we'll definitely get back with you on that.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 days really went kind of sideways, so,
Yeah, it was,
yeah. Now, I usually am not sending out emails and text that late, but I was, Peggy and Jim, they're the only two I could talk to, so I'm texting and, so, yeah. I
Poor
do-
Peggy.
And Peggy, I appreciate, you know, you and Jim, you guys getting back right away with me last night, so.
I call Peggy on Sunday, I call Peggy all the time.
I'm going to give my wife credit for that because she walked by my phone and she said, Doug and Peggy are texting you, so it must be something important.
that whole storm
Yeah.
yesterday and
Yeah.
Saturday night, everything, it was just,
Yeah.
Lot going on.
yes, busy last couple days.
Yeah, thanks for,
Somebody should say Josh did a great job
Oh, he
again.
did a great job.
yes,
He was right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yesterday morning.
So,
Thanks for bringing that up, so yes, so we didn't.
Yeah, so I definitely
ignore
want
that.
to
Okay.
look into that and see.
Anything else? You have any comments? I do not.
I think I've spoke my piece.
Yeah, yeah, you did, yeah. Executive session, there's no executive session, and
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively?
Yay.
Mr. King?